Hello and welcome to this tutorial video for how to take off and land in PTFS, more specifically for Delta Airline pilots. Today we're basically just going to be going over how to take off and land in a proper manner. So let's get into it. Today we're going to be using the A320. Just go ahead and hop in the plane. And before you do anything, you want to make sure that your flight plan is filed and you know where you will be flying to, and that tower has your flight plan information. So once you've got all that, you can request your IFR clearance. Delta 5992 requesting IFR clearance to Greater Rockford International Airport.
Delta 5992 cleared the Greater Rockford Airport as filed. Maintain flight level 330. Expect flight level 350 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.9, squawk 4725. Contact ground when ready to taxi.
Clear to Greater Rockford Airport as filed. Maintain flight level 330. Expect flight level 350 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency will be with you on 119.9, squawking 4725. And we will contact ground when ready to taxi. Delta 5992. Now, normally readbacks won't be as crazy unless we have like some sort of professional in the ATC tower, but I'm not sure how common that will be. Delta 5992 ready for push and start.
Delta 5992 push and start approved facing west. Report ready for taxi.
Push and start approved facing west. Report ready for taxi. Delta 5992. So now we've been cleared by the tower to push back from our gate, and we'll have our tail facing to the right. And then once we're all pushed and started, we will request taxi instructions. Now that we're pushed and started from the gate, you can pull up your airport chart and click on the airport that you were at, and here you will see all the taxiways and the runways used for departure, and the air traffic controller will give you directions and you'll follow those directions. Delta 5992 requesting taxi instructions to active runway.
Delta 5992 cleared the taxi to runway 22 via taxiway Bravo. Charlie turn left on Charlie 3, continue down Delta, and hold at Delta 1 before runway 24.
Delta 5992, taxi via Bravo, Charlie, turn left on Charlie 3, down Delta, and hold at Delta 1 before runway 24. And now that you've gotten your instructions, and your readback is correct, you can taxi to the runway. Remember to keep it below 25 knots when taxiing and follow the lines to the best of your ability. It's not a race to get anywhere. You're not going to get a prize from getting to the runway the fastest. And now that we've reached holding point Delta 1, typically a tower will most likely say that you've reached the point, but if there's no contact from the tower after a certain amount of time, you can go and contact them and tell them that you're at Delta at the holding point. Delta 5992 holding short of runway 24 at Delta 1.
Delta 5992 line up and wait runway 24.
Line up and wait runway 24 for Delta 5992. If you're given that instruction, then It's as straightforward as it gets. Just line up and wait. But sometimes if there's no traffic, you'll just be cleared for departure. Sometimes even before reaching your holding point. So once you're lined up, usually before reaching the runway, you'll probably have your flaps set already. Most people think like, ooh, take off full flap, but that's actually not the case. What you want to do is do two out of 4 flap setting, because airliners take off with either 5 to 10 to 15 degrees flap settings. Flaps allow you to fly at lower speeds, and since we're taking off and we have a pretty good runway here, all you really need is 2 out of 4 flaps. So another thing people tend to do a lot is use full thrust when taking off. You don't need to use full thrust when taking off. Really, the only thing all you really need is like 80% thrust to take off. Airliners do this in real life. They do not use full throttle unless they have heavy aircraft or the runway is short. In this case, we don't have weight parameters unless you want to, I don't know, RP that you have full flight of Americans and it's pouring rain. I don't know. Or you're on a short runway. But I don't know what you'd be doing on a short runway with an A320. But yeah, that's too much. That's about it. Another important thing is to stay below 250 knots, below 2,000 feet. After 2,000 feet, you can go however fast you'd like. That's, you know, safe. So yeah, let's get going.
Delta 5992 cleared for takeoff runway 24. Fly runway heading.
Delta 5924 cleared for takeoff. Runway 24, fly runway heading. After you get to about 150 feet, put your gear up. And if you see yourself getting past that 250 knots mark, you can just throttle back down a little bit for the A320. 73% is just fine. It's okay to be a little above 251. You're not going to get shot down because you're going a little over it. But yeah, just keep that in mind when climbing. Flaps, if you blow your flaps up, you'll also end up going faster. So if you want to stay below, just do 70% throttle with the flaps up. Reach 2000. Contact tower that will switching frequencies. Delta 5992 switching frequencies. Bye bye. So you'll continue to your flight level that you filed. Commonly it's usually 050. I mean, not in real life. Real life it's like 360, 36,000 feet. But this is Roblox. You can't get too far up. You can, but not in PTFS. Islands are too close. And so now, once you approach the vicinity of your airport, you're going to contact them by letting them know your heading and your flight level. Delta 5992 checking into Greater Rockford Tower. Currently heading 280, flying at flight level 030.
Delta 5992, radar contact established. Expect to runway 07 right for arrival.
Expect runway 07 right for arrival, Delta 5992. So we've been cleared to, we've been, not cleared, we've been informed of our arrival runway. We'll start setting up our approach, 407 right. Now for approaches, if you're too close to the airport, fly away. Just fly away from the airport. Don't do a nosedive just to get in line for the runway. You have time. You're not going to get penalized for flying away and turning back in and getting a nice and smooth approach. So from here, the airport is right off to our right. So we'll fly out a little bit over here, loop around right here, and come in through the mountains. And we will contact tower again. Once we're established with 07 right, we'll clear us for landing, and we'll go ahead and land. And now that once we start entering our approach for the runway, we will also start a gradual descent. Anything around like this is fine. Since we're far away, we have a lot more room to work with our descent. So once we get below 2,000, same rules apply. Nothing above 250 knots. So he'll go ahead and get down to 70% throttle.
1,000. 500.
'Once you're getting closer to the airport, you can start setting your flaps gradually. So we'll start with 1 out of 4 flaps. Once we get a little closer, we'll do 2 out of 4, and finally we'll do 4 out of 4 once we're on our short.
1,000. 500.
'Now this approach is a little awkward since there's a huge hill covering your airport visibility, but in that case we'll just slow it down, bring our flaps down a little bit. Just whatever you do, don't slam into the mountain. That is very unhealthy for your aircraft.
1,000. 500. 400.
Yeah, I did come in a little
minimum
quick
200
here, but it's nothing we can't fix. Slow down a little more since we will contact tower now and get our flaps down. Delta 5992 field in sight and established for runway 07 right.
Delta 5992 clear to land 07 right.
Clear to land runway 07 right, Delta 5992. There we go, nice and smooth. And now the PAPI lights. Too much red means you're too low, and too much white means you're too high. If you have too white and too red, you're on the perfect light slope. It's that simple. So go ahead, at this point we'll get down to our land speed, which is 55% throttle on the A320, and we'll just keep following those PAPI lights and stay aligned with the runway. And try your best
100.
to hit the touchdown markers. That's what these little white marks are on the runway. But if you don't,
70,
it's fine. It's just
60,
make sure to kick
50,
in with your reverse thrust
40,
and you'll be fine.
30, 20, 10, retard, retard.
And there you go. You've just completed your first takeoff and landing. Nicely done. Yeah, man, go ahead. I don't mind. And that's basically it for how to take off and land a plane in general, and for Delta Airlines. Once you've landed, it's basically the same thing as going to a runway. You'll be instructed to vacate the runway, get taxi instructions to the gate, and that's it. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and I do hope that you've learned something from this, and realized that it's not too hard to fly a plane. So yeah, see ya.